Hello everyone and welcome back to a brand new video, and welcome, as you can probably tell by the title, to a brand new series here on F123. Yes, today finally the FIA Formula 2 update has been released, of course. For those of you that have been long-term subscribers of the Matt212 channel, you'll know that every single year I try and jump in and do an F2 career mode, but this one is going to be a little bit different because not only am I going to be driving in Formula 2, but if we do good enough, we're going to be moving up into Formula 1 and then obviously hopefully trying to win the World Championship as well. Of course, so for those of you obviously that have watched some of my F2 career modes before, it's going to follow a very, very similar format to what I've done in the past. But obviously we've picked up a lot of new subscribers since the last time I've done one of these. So for those of you that don't know, the first race weekend I'll jump into today and tomorrow, and then normally the F2 series fits in a beautiful gap over the weekends, of course. So Saturday will be the qualifying and the sprint race, and Sunday will be the feature race. So yeah, if that sounds good to you, please do make sure to leave a like, get yourself subscribed to the channel. But of course, some of you might obviously be wondering, Matt, who am I going to be running then with for this new series? Now, of course, last year we used Teo Porcher. This time round, though, we're going to be going back to one of Britain's young phenoms, of course. As you can see in the background, it's a 14-race calendar this season. Obviously, we've got a sprint and a main event each weekend, but we start the year in Bahrain. Actually, the opening 4 Grand Prix, identical to what they are in the F1 campaign. Then we head to Imola, Monaco, Spain, Austria, Silverstone, Hungary, Belgium, the Netherlands, before Monza and Abu Dhabi finish off our season there. But yeah, we are going to be racing as Ollie Bearman, of course. We've run Mick Schumacher in the past. We obviously then did Teo Porcher last year. I did and ah about whether I wanted to do with Teo Porcher again, but I thought, no, what we're going to do is an Ollie Bearman career mode. And yeah, of course, try and move up into Formula 1 as well, obviously further down the line. Obviously, for those of you that are new to the channel, we don't run any assists here. I'm going to just tweak around the AI a little bit. Of course, we don't quite know how competitive they're going to be, so I'm going to stick it at 104 to begin with, but obviously that will move up in the future. And yeah, one-shot qualifying before a sprint and a feature race there, and just like we do with most of my F1 series, these are going to be 50% races. But yeah, really looking forward to this. Hopefully you guys are as well, and let's get in then ready for Sakhir. Right, well, here we are then, trackside for the opening race weekend of the year then. So, feels like I say this every year, but once again, the format for Formula 2 has been altered slightly for 2023. So, now you do qualify on a Friday night, obviously 2 points available if you take pole. It then has that sets the grid, for Sunday. But Saturday's sprint race still, the top 10 are reversed. So it kind of now means that obviously if you get, say for example, you take pole on a Friday night, you get taken out in the sprint race because you started in the middle of the pack. Doesn't completely ruin your weekend because of course you've still got an opportunity come Grand Prix Sunday here. But of course, yeah, first ever qualifying session then here of the new season. Just making a few setup tweaks there as best as possible. Might be completely taking the car the wrong direction, but we need to try and focus up them and try and get a good lap here. Put Ollie Bearman on good stead, as that is a big lock-up down at turn 1, but we get the car pointed through. We've actually not done too badly because of it there. Very weird driving physics occasionally with these cars. The turbo spool honestly feels like an old school car, like an old school F1 car of it's off, and then you've got all of the power. So managing the wheel spin is going to be really critical there as we go purple through the first sector. Of course, not expecting to set the world alight on this first weekend. It took Bearman, even in real life, a few weekends, of course, up until Baku, before he really felt at home with the car. And of course, then that utterly dominant weekend, didn't he, in Azerbaijan, as we can just see Victor Martins, the Frenchman there, leading the way at the front of the field. But yeah, real-life F1 in 2023 has obviously just been the Red Bull show. You're definitely not going to get that in this series. It is going to be a lot closer, a lot more competitive, and hopefully, therefore, a lot more enjoyable as we try and make our way up. That corner just not quite flat out like you would expect it to be in real life, but making our way down in towards the final couple of corners. You can see we're not that far behind Richard for sure, but neither is anybody else there, as down in towards the final corner we go. Braking zones as well, slightly longer. Oh no, I'm going to get a huge chunk of wheel spin, and that's going to completely upset the car, and I think we bottled it at the final corner there. It is last place on the grid for the opening race of the season there. The opening weekend of the season, of course. If you start outside the top 10, that's just where you start for both races.
The grid is all set for the race tomorrow, but before we go, let's quickly remind ourselves of our top 3, which are Cordial, for sure, Victor Martins. It's time to leave for now, but we'll be back tomorrow when the feature race gets itself underway.
Well, there we go then. We talk about fine qualifying margins there, and it's Amaury Cordial who takes pole for the opening race of the season, just 5 thousandths ahead of Richard Verschoor there. Martins and Hauger line up on the, well, line up in P3 and P4. They're, of course, ready for the reverse grid. They're Fred Vesti down in P8. But, I mean, yeah, despite that big mistake at the final corner, we were still only 3/10 away from Roman Stanek there. But we've got a lot of work to do, though. It's going to be a last question mark challenge then for both of the opening races of the campaign. But let's get on with the sprint race.
Hello and welcome from the Bahrain International Circuit here in Sakhir. Down on the grid, the engineers are making their last checks, and today's race will be underway shortly. Plenty of opportunities around the 3.36 miles of the Bahrain International Circuit for these young F2 drivers to show what they can do. The best passing opportunity right up there at turn 1, and we should see plenty of action there. But there's another not long after at turn 4. There are 9 right-handers and 6 left-handers, and the possibility that we could see some flat spots at the tightest of those left-handers, that's turn 10. Davide, you're a 3-time winner around here in 1 week, I believe, back in 2012. How on earth do you make the tyres last around this track? They degrade so quickly.
To be honest, the key to the race is having a good start so you can get your car into a good position. Then save the tyres as much as you can and push just at the end.
Here we are then, trackside for the opening race of the season then, and always lovely to hear Alex Jakes and Davide Valsecchi back in the commentary box. Of course, like to leave those intros in, just because obviously they're a bit different to the Formula 1 ones that you get so often inside F1 23 here. But of course, yeah, can only change the wing, the pressures, and the brake bias, of course, between qualifying and the race. So just actually going to lower the rear tyre pressures slightly to hopefully give us a little bit more. But from a content creation standpoint, quite happy, of course, that the sprint race is back on a Saturday now, because it should hopefully mean that the videos are a more similar length. We've got 12 laps ahead of us, though, 5 red lights, and it's going to be lights out, and away we go. Well, not if you're Roman Stanek there. That's going to be a nice, easy overtake made as we head down in towards turn 1. And yeah, Stanek drops instantly to the rear of the field. Ralph Boschung, of course, won here in Bahrain at the start of the season. What's happened to his campaign ever since then? Way down at the back of the group. There is Stanek instantly trying to come back at me through the first corner. Can we try and get a switch on Ayumu Wasa as we head up the hill? There's Maini just in front of me. Of course, got to remember that the cars brake earlier than you would in Formula 1, but looks to be a fairly cool, calm and collected start there as Roy Nissany getting a little bit caught out as we go side by side with Boschung temporarily there. He's going to hook it up around my outside. I'm actually going to get tagged from behind there by Roy Nissany as we head down the hill. Lucky to catch the slide there and just allow those Pirelli tyres to grip back up off of the corner. But that was a rather scary moment then to kickstart the campaign. As we make our way down in towards turn 10 there. Yeah, that's going to be one of my biggest ever saves, I want to say, inside F1 23. There's certainly one of my longer power slides, and Well, hopefully we haven't turned the tyres into 50 pence pieces then as we make our way down in towards the final sector there. Is that a Trident at the front of the field there? Or even either a Trident, I think I want to say, or a Shrews. So you can just see how much this car wobbles around underneath me when the tyres aren't quite up to scrub as we make our way down in towards the final couple of corners. Though Ralph Boschung still just in front of me, but we've made up a few spots then on this opening lap. Let's see, it's kind of a Novalak at the front of the field there. So of course won the Dutch Grand Prix feature race, didn't he, this season? And for those of you that come around to my Twitch streams, you'll know that, well, there's certainly someone that's going to be a big fan of seeing Clem at the front of the field, and that is in fact my girlfriend there as we make our way back in towards Turn 1. Almost into the back of Rob Boschung, but we managed to hang on to the car. I believe it's only the top 8 that score points in the sprint race, so I think it goes 10, 8, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 there. So going to be a lot of work if we want to try and get ourselves up into the points, but we've survived the start, which is often quite a good thing in FIA Formula 2. Let's just try and settle into a rhythm and see what we can do throughout this sprint race here. It's more of a learning experience than anything else, as of course the car's not massively different to the way they handled inside F122, just obviously because the real life cars haven't changed at all since 2022, but yeah, of course you just get some of the slight game nuances that obviously you also get in real life there. As you can see, another big save as the rears try to lock up. DRS now enabled those with start lap 3, but yeah, the 105 AI though definitely, I think, pretty much perfect for where we need early on in this campaign. Doesn't feel like the AI are walking away from me at all, but certainly doesn't feel like I'm going to be able to just fly past them either. Of course, there will be some tracks where the AI are a bit stronger or a bit weaker, and of course as we slowly get more and more used to the car as well, I will work behind the scenes to make sure that we are updating it to give us the best fights we possibly can right the way throughout the campaign. But yeah, don't really want to be looking at Ralph Boschung's gearbox for too long this afternoon, so I want to be trying to think about where we can make a move sooner rather than later. I definitely seem to be struggling a little bit more through the middle sector, so it makes me wonder if we're running slightly less wing. Whoa, then a lot of the cars around me there, as you can still see, having quite a fight with this car early on in this race to just try and get it going where I want it to. They've got to be very careful, of course, over that curb, and it often feels like the F2 cars, you know, slightly less forgiving over those curves than you'd find from a Formula 1 car. You know, lighter, shorter wheelbase, everything like that. Well, as you can just see, I feel like every single lap I'm going to be fighting the rear end through that corner, but yeah, it's just like desperately trying to get the good traction off of the turns. Of course, you know, racing these cars for years, for those of you that obviously have raced these cars in previous F1 games, you'll know exactly what I'm on about, but it is still so difficult to do, as just, yeah, you get all that turbo power immediately, and the back end just wants to overtake the front. It looks like on the mini-map then, a few cars are broken free at the front of the field, but there is quite a nice train of cars from about 7th downwards. So for those final couple of points, of course, you know, it is going to take me a little while to obviously remember all of the driver names off the top of my head there, but I think that's a UNI Virtuosi, and it might well be Anne-Marie Cordelas. No, Novalak! From the lead of the race, Clement Novalak is out! Here in Bahrain there, you can see the stricken Trident on the outside of turn 9 there, but heartbreak for Clem, who kick-started this campaign with a sprint pole, but leading the way early on here. But Novalak out of the opening race of the season. If that doesn't go to showcase the drama that's likely to unfold in this campaign, I don't know what will. Oh, I can see AI there too, maybe even 3 wide down in towards Salmon as my teammate Fred Vesti trying to get involved in that one. But if they all keep concertinaing up, maybe we've got an opportunity here, as it looks like a couple of cars have broken free. So I want to say that might be Cordeal and one of the Carlins there as we make our way up in towards turn 4 once again, but still struggling around with our own car here. Maybe we need to try even lower tyre pressures As we make our way through the S's there, Vesti actually gets a little bit loose. We're going to try and send it then, try and claim a place off of Ralph Boschung here. It has been a slow burn early on. It's just everyone, of course, doesn't want to make mistakes here. Can we try and switch Boschung down the hill? Yes, we will. They've got to be careful, of course, as we get marbles all on the tyres. But come on, just see how much the back end refuses to stay in check there. Boschung and Nassani side by side behind me. So hopefully we're going to be able to break away from them in towards the next corner here and stay with Juan Manuel Correa. Just sliding. This thing is... There's one way to describe this car, and that is loosey-goosey. Here we go again, though. AI side by side as we head back down towards turn 1. They're almost 4 wide in towards that first corner this time around. There is Vesti in a Maloney and Leclerc sandwich through that first turn. Can we try and get the power down? You can see we do get a good run on Correa there, and Vesti's kind of been caught napping as well off of the corner down the inside of my teammate. And can somehow we get ahead and finish top Premier here. Of course, Fred Vesti in the championship fight in real life as they head to the season finale in Abu Dhabi next month. But we're through. We're up into P14 then, so still definitely making some progress early on here. We could still try and look for a top 10, all things considered. But yeah, definitely happy now that we're starting to make a bit of progress against the AI here, starting to understand everything that's going on underneath me. But it is still not an easy car to drive. That's going to make things even more of a challenge. Oh, we got more yellows out. Someone else, might be a car behind me, actually going slowly out of the final corner. I think it is. I want to say that might be Roy Nassani out of the Grand Prix. No, it is Kushmani out then here in Bahrain. So 2 mechanical failures at the start of the season. We're definitely now starting to get a better indicator of which drivers have looked after their tyres and which ones haven't. Zane Maloney, of course, another driver that has moved up into FIA Formula 2 for the 2023 season, as Juan Manuel Correa and Fred Vesti behind me actually having a bit of a scrap as well. But yeah, Maloney has lost the DRS to Leclerc as well in front of him in the Dams car. So it might mean if we can get back within the range of Maloney, we've got a fighting chance. We can just see as well how much we're struggling through the first couple of corners. And I had completely forgot this as well, but another reason why I wanted to use Ollie Bearman's car. The Union Jack and the BEA, of course, the flag and letters that I use inside F123. So always nice as well to feel a bit more at home in the car. Fred Vesti, seems like his pace is completely collapsed then with 3 laps to go here. It's already now 7 seconds back there and has dropped 4 seconds away from Correa. It's definitely, yeah, seems like there's some of us that struggled more on the tyres towards the end than others. Leclerc pulling away from Maloney and I. And now, yeah, Correa as well behind me, starting just to close back in slightly. Whoa, that's not what we want to do down at turn 1, but I guess the good thing is with these cars is you can catch the slide a lot more than you can in the F1s. Over 1 lap to go, the tyre wear warning light has flashed up, and boy, am I feeling it at the moment there, these tyres. I do not want to be taking them 12 laps again in tomorrow's feature race, as we are just all over the show as we try and make our way onto the final lap here. I believe it's a Campos and an ART battling at the front of the field, but I could be completely wrong here, as of course Clem obviously took that fastest lap at the start. No one else has been able to get close to it by virtue of obviously the AI starting miles in front of the start-finish line around here. But yeah, Juan Manuel Correa then looks like we could be in for a battle with the Van Amersfoort car onto the final lap then of this GP there as we make our way back down in through the first corner. It's often been this first sector where we've stood a fighting chance, but even this late on, just looks like both Premiers, yeah, really struggled with their tyres, of course. And Premier, obviously in real life, often a real force to be reckoned with in FIA Formula 2, but clearly not today. Fred Vesti, I'm wondering, to be honest, if he's picked up some damage or something, because it seems very un-Fred-like to be that slow in the car, or unless, you know, he's picked up a mechanical gremlin or something like that. But Carrera is still really hounding me on this final lap. Only a second back, but I think everyone now has pretty much cooked their tyres there. I think that's a Campos, though, yeah, at the front, that is bolted away from the rest of the field. Like I said, I could be completely wrong. I'm still making sure that I'm learning all my names correctly here, but in towards the final few corners then, they are going to be going. I'm trying to remember off the top of my head who even drives for Campos in 2023, but round in the final corner they go. It is going to be victory for someone. I don't quite know yet off the top of my head. It is going to be Teo Porcher's ART. So Porcher will win the sprint race then here in Bahrain and kick off the campaign by the way he intends to go on there. So yeah, got my Campos and my ARTs the wrong way around. As the fireworks out, it's P14 for us, a decent recovery drive, and we survived our opening race.
It was a magnificent race and a drive right out of the top draw to take the win for ART today. And Davide Valsecchi, give me your thoughts. How did they accomplish this result?
I think this race was won thanks to the tire management. You have to remember, it's not just about going as fast as you can. It's about consistency. It's about maintaining your speed over an entire race distance. So being able to keep the lap time competitive while still respecting the tires, that's where they won today.
ART, the French team who have been racing since the 90s in various forms of motorsport, are once again back on the winner's podium today after a brilliant display of driving skill. So then, it's time to see how this result affects the Drivers' Championship. Teo Porcher takes over the top spot in the Drivers' Championship standings following today's solid performance. And now, Davide Valsecchi, let me ask you, who is your driver of the day?
Difficult call, but I'd like to say Teo Porcher. He's just so gifted at getting the most out of the tires, and he showed that today.
And here's how things are shaping up in the Teams' Championship. Hi-Tech GP moved to the top of the table. After all this drama, you'd be mad not to join us for the next race. We hope to see you then. Take care.
Well, there we are then, the end of the sprint race here from Sakir, and Teo Porcher there takes the dub ahead of Isaac Hadjar and Jack Crawford. They're both Hi-Tech, sorry it was, inside the top three. Dennis Hauger comes through for P4 ahead of Martins and Fittipaldi there with Richard Verschoor, and somehow Brad Benavides scores points in the opening race of the year. Often we see a slight error in some of the AI's performances before they release another sort of patch with the updates for that. Gian Daruvula, Amory Cordial will round out our top 10. And yeah, 22nd to 14th for us. I think, you know, we probably deserve to shout out for driver of the day there. But having a look at the championship standings, of course, you know, with those bonus points as well. Obviously, fastest lap bonus point actually goes to whoever sets the fastest lap inside the top 10, I believe. So it doesn't matter, of course, that obviously Clement Novalak got fastest lap and then obviously didn't score. It's always given out to whoever set the fastest inside the top 10 there. But yeah, Prema all the way down in 10th place there. Campos, Dams, ourselves and Trident unable to get off the scoring block there, but Hi-Tech lead ART by just a single point. But yeah, thank you all so much for watching. If you have enjoyed, please do make sure to leave a like, get yourself subscribed, and yeah, we'll be back tomorrow with round 2 of the season, of course, for the feature race. And like I said, after that, Saturday, Sundays will belong to FIA Formula 2 once again on the channel. But yeah, thank you all, And we'll be back very, very soon. A massive thank you to all of my YouTube members and my Patreon supporters for their continued donations to help my work. These things go much further than I think a lot of you ever realise and allow me to continue making content full-time here on YouTube. So if you want to support me from as little as £1 a month and be featured on all of these end clips, either click the join button next to the subscribe or head over to my Patreon. There's a link down in the description.